Welcome back, listener land. You have found To All the Cars I've Loved Before, your authoritative podcast on automotive nostalgia, where every car tells a story and every car has a culture. You know what time it is. It's time to plug in, dust off, get a little grease under the nails, and slip on that favorite car-themed t-shirt. Speaking of which, I'm wearing one. My partner is always wearing one. Good afternoon. How you doing there, Doug?
Doing great. Great to be back here.
All right, so what? I can't read the shirt. What you got?
So it says Rich Rebuilds.
Oh, yeah.
And Rich has a YouTube channel. I think I saw that he wrote a book recently. He does the craziest, coolest, kind of like Speedy Cop.
Yeah.
He took, I don't know, Dodge Charger SRT with a big V8 and took the body off and put a Chrysler minivan body on top, for example.
Well, yeah, okay.
He's converting cars from gas to electric. He's done about everything. And so the show is called Rich Rebuilds on YouTube. Hoping to have him on in a future episode.
Reading my mind, I was
Rich
just about to ask.
He's close. He's close to
say?
Pennsylvania. It's
Roger Dodger. Okay, good stuff. What else did we want to chat through, or did we?
Recent show.
Recent shows. That. Yeah.
Most recently, depending on when you're listening to this, it's already out. Mm-hmm. We had a Guinevere Freccia from Freccia Brothers in Greenwich. I got to say it the right way. Greenwich, Connecticut, who has a Freccia Brothers garage, 100-year-old family business. They've been working on Volkswagens since the 50s, since they first came to town. Now they do restorations on all things air-cooled. So whether it's Volkswagen, Porsche, or the American Corvair.
Such an interesting, wonderful family legacy. And she's just a tremendous person. It's a blast to make her acquaintance. Yeah. We got a road trip up there to...
we do.
We got to buy a VW so that we have a reason to bring it up there. And then we can just kind of like hang out and talk to her dad and everybody that works in the garage.
Maybe we could have one of our past show guys, Aiden, who was on with his dad, who was a Volkswagen guy. He said he was born in the wrong time period.
Absolutely.
He came up with the every car has a culture, and we took that statement. And he recently got his own Volkswagen 1972 Super Beetle named Miss Maggie the Bug.
Yep. Just a small matter of his being about 2,000 miles away from Greenwich, Connecticut. But you know what? Hey, it's just a problem to be solved. I did want to say, let's see, thank the listener. Okay, so when we go into the analytics of the show, it says, here are the people, here's where you have been heard around the world over the past 5 days to a week. I think the filter was set for 5 days. So, hey, if you're in Roanoke, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Paris, Plano, Toronto, Fairfax, Virginia, maybe that was my son Conrad, or Brooklyn, hey, we appreciate you listening. And if you like what you hear, please help us grow by telling a friend, telling somebody. Carslove.com is where you can find all of our online presences, Linktree, pictures, reviews, all this good stuff. To All the Cars I've Loved Before, check it out on your podcast platform, streaming platform of choice. Good deal. So, Welcome back. We appreciate you listening. And, did you want to get in here real quick before we introduce today's guest?
No.
All right.
We can go right to our guest.
All right. And I think that's all of our prologue. So again, help us grow if you like what you're hearing. But Doug, we got to introduce today's wonderful guest, really interesting guy. We seem to have all hit it off. How did Mark cross your radar, so to speak?
Yeah, well, there seems to be 6 degrees of separation between me and everybody else on the Eastern Shore.
Fewer in your case, I think.
Yeah. And it all seems to link back to our buddy Andrew Blackwood. What an awesome guy. Just happened to meet him at a car show. He was driving a Trabant. Needless to know, he had like 14 other cars. And he's paramedic on the Eastern Shore. He's introduced us to countless numbers of people, and that's how we
Fascinating guy,
Mark.
Renaissance man. Yeah. Good deal. Well, Mark, welcome to the show. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great, and a shout out to Andrew Blackwood as well, and thank you for facilitating the introduction.
You got it. Welcome aboard. And you, a lot of times we introduce our guests, and they're in a garage, they're in their basement, but Mark, you're broadcasting from a very special location. And could you tell us a little bit about what you are inside right now?
It's cold in here. I'll tell you that.
I know you're quasi outside.
Well, yeah, no, the back door is open. I am currently inside a 24-foot NASCAR auto hauler, and for those in the car biz, they should be no strangers to this thing. I bought it in Delaware naked. It was just a box. And then I tricked it out into a wood shop for children, and everything in it is shrunk down to their size. And it's every bit a modern wood shop that an adult would use, but it's inside a NASCAR auto hauler.
And we got to pause right there. I'm tell everybody in the world, I don't care if you're listening in Australia, Japan, the Philippines, Paris, or Plano, you want to put a smile on your face, drop what you're doing. Well, you can keep listening to the podcast, but type in woodworksonwheels.com. And exactly what Mark just mentioned, he has a wonderful little video of the time lapse of his building exactly that, at the suggestion of a neighbor of his that said, hey, you're doing something really neat and special here. You're going to want to document. So there's just the neatest video. And I got to ask you, Mark, what inspired you to do this? Are you a woodworker by trade? Did you race NASCAR automobiles? How did it come to be?
None of the above, actually. Woodworking is a hobby that was in the basement of the home growing up. My father was a NASA engineer, an aerospace engineer.
Oh, wow.
And he tinkered in a wood shop as a hobby, and he let me use all of his tools. So woodworking is a hobby. As a career, it's colorful. I've been in the travel business. I spent decades in the pharmaceutical industry. And then when I decided to retire, I wanted to return to that hobby of woodworking. And so I learned it in high school. I did it at home. They've taken it out of most of the schools, woodworking.
Yeah.
So I thought, since I learned it as a kid, maybe I could bring it back to the kids. And I didn't really want to do it in a building. I thought that was a little boring. And I wasn't ready to tackle the school system and put it back in the school system. So I thought, why not put it on wheels? And so I bought a NASCAR auto hauler, and I built it out. It took about 3 months, 3 or 4 months, and it's beautiful inside. You'll have to come have a look. But I take 6 kids at once, and we build anything they'd like to build. It's just great in here, and it is on wheels, and I trailer it anywhere it needs to go.
And you got to go to his website and see the video. It shows him building this entire project from the ground up. But each child has their own little on the workbench,
Yeah, like
and so they're
here's number
elbowed up.
5.
Yeah.
Each kid gets their own station, and the toolboxes, it's a little hard to see because they're put away, but they're
Yeah.
underneath there. There's 5 of them if you can see them.
Yeah, you've done real well. Shoehorn. How long did you say it was? Was it 20 or 25 feet?
This is 24.
Yeah, ton of space. Ton of space.
And
so, yeah, go ahead. All right, and the one thing that you teased just a little bit, perfect segue, is you said there was a racetrack inside the car. Not really a nod to the NASCAR theme. It has to do with the Pinewood Derby. And the Pinewood Derby inspired event that Mark helped children build little cars to. And I have 3 sons, and so they were in the Scouts, and we raced the Pinewood Derby. But could you tell us just a little bit before we kind of go back in time and talk about the cars of your youth, Mark? Could you speak a little bit about how that event inspired you to help the kids make cars, and you made a track, and could you walk us through that?
Sure. I've been doing some work with a group in Easton, Maryland called the Academy Art Museum. They have their own kids program. They asked me to help them out conceiving of some activities for the kids. And I suggested that we bring the racetrack, which I have for wooden cars. And we built wooden cars and we raced them and they loved it. And
Yeah.
they had an event for showcasing Bugatti cars in the museum,
Oh, wow.
and
Beautiful.
they asked me, would I do something that would coincide with the Bugatti event? And I said, of course. Why don't we shrink the Bugattis and race them down a Pinewood Derby track?
Love it. Love it.
And they loved it. They weren't quite sure what it all meant, but we pulled it off, and the kids loved it. The parents loved it, and it was just great. So I hope that gives you a summary of what happened.
And that is so wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And
I have the pictures of it. Do you want to see the cars?
yeah. Real quick. And
Real
while
quick.
while you're
There you
getting that
go.
squared, now
I can
as
just
we
tell
were
you
talking,
there's all the cars.
3D printed. Now
3D printed Bugattis.
yeah, you're not able to do that. Now, we were chatting with Mark a little bit before the show, and boy, did these memories start flooding back, because I built several Pinewood Derby cars myself. And if you're not, and I had to run in my son's bedroom, I have two boxes, and I try and be organized. They say Pinewood Derby, right? And that's how I know I was able to put my
Nice.
hands on them quickly. And so what we do is, if you're not familiar, little Cub Scouts, before they become Boy Scouts, which happens in middle school, Cub Scouts, you get this wooden blank, and then you mill it into a car. And there's, Mark was saying, it's a racetrack, and it's this, depending upon how long it's a fort. There he's showing it right there. Doug, we're going to have wonderful video to share here. Look, so that's the blank. Exactly. The slots are the slots on the bottom, except the nails, which act as the axles. And enough geeking out about the Pinewood Derby, and we have to step in the time machine and take Mark way back to his youth. Yeah, let's talk about your first car, Mark. What was it? How'd you get it? What happened to it?
First car, the first car that I owned, or that my dad, was kind enough to gift me.
I would say the one your dad was kind enough to gift you, right? That's what fathers are for.
Let's go with that. My father went to the dump and got a car from the dump, and he took it to the high school auto mechanics class and told them, I believe he bought the car for $35. And it was a 1963 Mercury Comet Capri with 3 on the column.
Three on the tree.
3 on the tree.
Yep.
So do you know the car?
I was looking it up beforehand, and it is very closely related to an Edsel. I don't know if you knew that.
It is. It's not the prettiest car.
No.
Which might have been why it was in the dump, but he bought it for $35, took it to the auto mechanics class. Now remember, this is the mid 70s. And he told them to get it running and he would buy it back. And he did. I don't know whether it was $100 or something like that.
Nice.
And that's the car he gave to me. It was road rash, rusty, and it wasn't the prettiest thing in the world. Somebody's walking along. Here we go. And they couldn't get the starter pin to work, so it would take a paperclip to start the car.
I've never heard that.
Speaking of starters,
beautiful.
Yeah, and the car, the car was just fabulous. It didn't have power or anything. Big benches, and you had to turn the wheel 100 times to go left or right. And it was just a great, great starting car. But it was hitting. And then a friend of mine crashed it, and that was the end of it.
Oh, man.
That's what happens to a lot of these cars, a friend of yours crashes it. Never you.
Yeah, first cars. Yep, absolutely. So was your dad trying to teach you anything by buying the car from the junkyard? I mean, your dad was very smart to take it to the auto shop, but was he trying to inspire something with you that you can think of?
Maybe he knew we were going to crash it because he made us repair it before we then sold it again. So we learned all
Oh,
about how to tie rods. I remember I'd never heard of a tie rod before, and we had to do quite a bit of repairs and crawling underneath it. So maybe he knew it was an old junky car, and we were going to learn how to fix cars.
so yeah, something was going to happen to it, and
Well, not something. Something happened to it every day. It was,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Adventures. No end to the
And then
adventures
you
like that. Yeah.
What
then you
I what I
guys
do what I do remember fondly about it though is that when we had a little fender bender, literally, we couldn't find another fender, and so we just drove around without it. And
yeah.
all through high school, and I drove around all through high school with it, missing a right front fender.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually as long as it has the lights, it's legal, I think.
Is that true today? Could I?
I don't know. I've seen people driving around without fenders and without hoods. I don't know. I think it just depends.
He was trying to teach me something, but
Yeah.
he certainly did not go out and buy me a BMW for my birthday. We got a beater car from the dump.
Yeah. And then he gave it back to the high school class once you fixed it to a certain point, right?
Well, he bought it. He bought it from the high school, gave it to me, and then we crashed it a couple times, and then we sold it. So I don't think it ever made it back to the high.
Okay. Gotcha. And so what was the replacement for that car, Mark?
The replacement for that car, cars, because I was thinking about this podcast, and this car came in that I just had to have it. So I bought the car instead of selling it to the public. And it was a 1964 Buick Electra 225.
Yeah.
You
And
know
That
that
car
car
had a
too.
name.
that was a big car, right?
It was 21 and a half feet long. It had
Yep.
an eight cylinder 455 in it.
Good grief. And that's, yeah, the deuce and a quarter, right? That's the
Yeah,
deuce and a quarter? Yeah.
225. Yeah, they were sort of fins, but yes, it was a really, really big car.
Yep. Intended to be a luxury car, right?
It was a luxury car. It had, beautifully embroidered bench seats and, a stunning dashboard, and it was super quiet, and
Probably
I
smooth ride,
it's
right?
totally a smooth ride.
Yeah, yeah.
I loved it. And I bought it for $500 and I drove it for a couple of years and loved it. And we used to call it the mantis because it looked kind of like a praying mantis. And then, oh, I know what it was. I moved into Washington, D.C. when I was going to school, and I just couldn't park it. And
Yeah.
I sold it for
Uh,
$500.
And so you said it was green. Was it kind of that really light metallic green that they just don't do anymore?
Dark metallic.
Dark metallic. I see. Oh, I
But
bet that was
it was
beautiful.
metallic. No, definitely metallic. Had a light green, kind of a seafoam green interior, but a dark metallic exterior.
That
Green.
sounds so unique. That sounds beautiful. Sorry, Doug, you were saying something. I
no,
just
no.
wanted to hop
I
in.
loved
Golly,
it.
but
I'm
that
I'm
was
I'm mad.
beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
the other one, the Comet Capri, not so much, but The Buick Electra 225, it was a 1965, and it would be in a show today because it was really, it was great.
How many?
I never thought I'd miss a car, but that one I
Yeah,
missed.
yeah, and probably preparing for this podcast took you back to the car, right?
Thank you for saying that. I was going down memory lane. I mean, I'll
Thank you.
rattle off a few that I might have missed. I
Yeah.
had I had a Dodge Dart that
Oh,
had
Oh, wow.
a push button transmission.
push button automatic. Yeah, that
Yeah, it
was a
was kind of on the
Chrysler
left
thing.
hand side, like look elevator buttons or something.
Yep.
Uh, let's see what else I had. My parents had a VW Bug, which was in the 1960s, and that they used until the floorboards rusted out completely. They had a Rambler station wagon with the wooden panels on the
Oh,
side.
oh yeah. Nash Rambler.
You don't see those much anymore.
No,
Nope.
you don't. You don't. What I was going to say, I wasn't sure that I was a car person, and then when I thought about this podcast, as a little kid, I raced HO scale cars. You're
Okay.
familiar with those?
Hmm.
And then my older brother somehow got to race slot cars.
I loved those. I loved my set. I still have a car floating around here somewhere
Uh,
from my slot racing set. Yeah.
Little tiny HO set. It was like a darn oval that just went around, round, round, round. But,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
were so hooked on the darn thing that we'd save up every penny we had and buy straightaway pieces and keep connecting them until we could send a drag strip across the whole basement floor with those 1 inch HO cars. And
Yep.
it's again, like you say, the turn on in that video of the kids making a wooden car and racing it. When you're that little and you're racing a car that's 1 inch long, it doesn't matter. Your imagination
Well
just goes
said.
to this
Well
place.
said.
And when you're participating with those kids as an adult, whether it's a wooden car or an HO car, a slot car, or a Pinewood Derby car, or a soapbox derby car, anything but a real car, if you meet those little kids where they are, which is to them, that car is real. And it's like the Wizard of Oz to them. And it's if you get your head around that, your experience working with those kids in little cars will be fabulous.
That's such a lovely point, such a good point. Nowadays, kids can be so obsessed with what they see on a screen. It's like the world comes to them, and I get that. There's a time and place
The
for that.
virtual
But
world.
yes, to make something with your hands and hold this thing in your hand, that is always a good feeling. That's always been a good feeling. But with the kids of today, there's something a little extra to that tactile. It's in my hands and not on a screen. Go ahead, Doug. You were going to hop in.
No, no, I'm totally with you.
Well,
It's
it's more than beyond a feel good thing. I mean, there's a reason they use this stuff for STEM science,
Yep.
and
Good point.
it's got all, it's gravity, it's friction, it's physics, there's team building, there's all kinds of
Such a good
it's a
point.
metaphor in life if you build a Pinewood Derby car with your kid.
Well said. Wow.
I agreed. So what we know you love that Buick, but what would be your dream car besides that Buick if you could have it back?
One that I lost or one I never got?
Uh, how about one you never got?
I'm gonna get it. I was gonna say it's the Bugatti, but no thanks. I, yeah, I wouldn't turn it down. But as a
Yeah.
dream car to tool around in, it's a Triumph TR3.
Okay. Yeah, I think James McCrae is restoring one of those in Easton for one of his customers.
I think I
Wow.
might have seen it. Is it like Hunter Racing Green?
Mm, I'm not sure
It
what
might be
color it
now.
is
It might be
yet.
now.
It was
Yeah.
primer last time I saw it.
Okay. Well, the Triumph TR3s and TR4s, I like the threes with the little scoop on the front. They're very small. They're tiny.
Yep.
But I think they're just I just think they're cool looking.
Absolutely.
And that would be my dream little toy sports car. I don't own a sports car, frankly. Like I said, I never saw myself as a car guy. I got a 20-year-old pickup sitting in the driveway, and I have no car collection. My car collection are made of wood, and they're 3 inches long on my desk. I don't have a garage full of cars. But I soon will. I am going to sponsor a racing team for the real soapbox derbies, and we're going to take some kids that otherwise would never have a chance to do something like this, and we're going to train them to race, and we're going to build the cars, and we're going to win in Federalsburg on the Eastern Shore, and then it's on to Akron, where we'll win there.
Can't wait to hear about it. We're gonna have
You
to
heard
have you
you
back.
heard it here. You
Hey,
heard it here.
you're on the record, so now you got to back it up.
That
We're
was
gonna have you back once it happens. Yeah,
That was
I
my
love it.
Babe Ruth,
Take pictures, take
call right
videos.
there.
Call your shot. Call that shot. Sounds like a winner. So, all right, we're getting close to time here, and as we guide the podcast gently to the off ramp, got two last questions for you, Mark. Number one, why is your least favorite car the brown Dodge 1974 van? I know you had some great times in it, some not so great times. We don't have time to get into the legend of, and I'm sure you took road trips in that car, and it made me think of, when I took my kids on road trips there. But when I say brown Dodge 1974 van, just what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What strikes you?
As the good in the van?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sure. Or bad.
No. There were no bad times in that van.
Okay,
it was
fair.
fabulous, and I'd take it back tomorrow. But I did share that van with three siblings, all teenage young drivers, and the van took a hit every couple of weeks, and it had a very colorful life. But eventually we had to start popping the engine cover off of it and spraying ether down into the carburetor so it would start. And those are sort of fond memories to me, that it finally, gave it up, and it was so beat up and hit so many times, and we hit so many things in it. But we went on a lot of road trips and skied in it. And my friends to this day, say, "Oh, remember the van?" We just called it the van.
The van.
So,
yeah, got it.
And to be a high school senior and to be able to show up, at your high school parking lot with your license, although I didn't own it, you were still in a van, and that was just in the 70s.
Yeah, I
You
got
could
it. Well,
fit a lot of people in that van
yeah,
and become
and-
very popular.
And Doug says all the time. Doug says all the time that the show is about family, and a lot of times these metal machines are just vectors for the stories of our lives, the people that have come and gone in them. So yeah, that's a great answer to that question. On the way out, last question here for you. We asked, are there any causes that are important to you that we can share? And you wrote something I thought really interesting. You wrote, support the arts, trades, and make them available to everyone. There's a little bit of a callback. What you were talking about, your mission to bring woodworking to the children. What else strikes you about that statement?
So it's supporting the arts and the trades. I think and trades, many trades are art, and
Good,
there you
such
go.
A good point. Such a good point. Yeah.
But I would say that as a young kid, I was turned on to woodworking. And my dad, although he was a NASA engineer, he enjoyed, making marionette puppets and little wooden race cars. And
so interesting.
It's beyond your profession. It's a hobby, like anything. So, and your question again was.
No, I just I think it's very interesting how you brought them together. Like you as a young person were in high school, and you took this shop class, this woodworking class, and then. But I thought you
now I see where you're going. So yes, so as a little kid, I loved watching my father tinker in a wood shop. I signed up for woodshop classes in high school. It was my favorite thing to do. And although I didn't do it as a profession later on in life, I'm not a carpenter. I consider myself a skilled woodworker, but I'm self-trained to some degree. And I just saw it as an art and certainly a trade that is not necessarily gone, but it's disappearing and it's
Yes.
more difficult to find.
Yeah.
And so woodworking as a class, you could either take, I guess, shop, or you could take home economics and learn how to bake or sew or type. I took both, I think. But those are gone, and
Yeah.
they're replaced for the most part with tech. And tech is not a bad thing. It's just replaced, the woodworking is gone. And so I guess you'd say certain maybe charter schools or private schools,
Mm-hmm.
they've
Mm-hmm.
they've put maker spaces back in, and they've done a really good job of it.
Yeah.
But for the large part, the public school system, it's gone. And when I retired from my career in pharmaceuticals, to bring that hobby back
Sure.
and bring it the joy that I had. And in the process,
Great
I've
answer.
learned that if you want to fix something in your house, or you want to do an addition, or you want to build something or put something together, it's something I don't even think twice about. I just go do it
And
because
that's,
it's
yeah.
second nature. I watch other people struggle, and they kind of, okay, who do I call kind of thing. Or they look frustrated with it. They don't have the right tool or the skill or both. And
Yeah.
so when I see people that are really good at something, they might have learned it as a kid like I did. They might have gone to a trade school and learned it, but they're not all in tech, and they're not
Yeah.
all working in whatever, they're not all doctors and lawyers. And the truth is, they're the guy that fixes your sink, and
You call in the middle of the night. Yeah, when something's leaking, for sure.
is my thing. And so I have a real appreciation for the trades, as you say, and the arts, because
Yeah.
I think a trade is an art done
A lot
well.
of intersection.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of intersection, and
Great answer.
frankly, we could use a lot of it. And if you can spark it in a little kid through a Pinewood Derby car, it doesn't matter how it happens. It certainly happens doing it through that process, as you know.
Great
uh,
answer. Yeah.
Bring it on.
Great answer. And, couldn't say it any better with his mission right now. Woodworksonwheels.com. Check it out. It's going to put a smile on your face, just the way it put a smile on my face. Mark, it's been wonderful to meet you. There it is, gliding across the screen. Another video moment for sure. Mark, it was fantastic to meet you. Thank you for making the time today. Doug and I really enjoyed a little bit of time in your schedule.
Thank you for having me both.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have you back. That was To All the Cars I've Loved Before. You've just heard the high revving, low mileage, late model, heard around the world authoritative podcast on automotive nostalgia. He's Doug. Reach him at doug@carslove.com. I'm Christian. Reach me at christian@carslove.com. Hey, and he was Mark. What else can you say? woodworksonwheels.com. If you like the show, feel free to tell your friends, forward. That helps us grow. Please follow, tell a friend. Check us out at carslove.com. I'm sure we'll see you at the next local car show, showroom, race trip, or concourse. And we appreciate you listening. We'll see you next time